Hello and welcome to the Invested American Podcast. I'm Ollie.
And I'm Alexander.
Yo, and we're here to start another show with you all today. For those tuning in for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and share it with others as we are trying to improve our own content, but also improve the ability of touching more and more people to get them to educate them on insurance and also learn more about our company, the Invested American. Today, we're going to get into a host of different things regarding retirement, from Social Security to Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, and talk about what might be the best fit for a client, Alexander, and also dive into some new laws right here in our own home state of Oklahoma that we'll get into. But before we dive into all that, how was your last week? How are things going with you, Alex? I know you also had a podcast on Friday that you did. How's everything going?
It's going great. Just staying busy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm doing quite a few more podcasts now, which I like,
For sure.
Getting out and doing podcasts is good because you get to network with people, connect with them, and them kind of give you some nuggets that you can take back into your business.
Absolutely. Tell me, didn't you also do, so now you're doing our podcast, right? We get these out once a week with the incredible help of Theory, our producer. Thank you, Theory. And so we've got her. And then you do now, it's called Friday Fuel. Okay?
Correct.
So who's on Friday Fuel? What's going on? Why is that show started? Or what are you doing?
It's with the Insurance Syndicate, the fastest growing insurance Facebook group on Facebook. And
Joe and Tony would be proud of you to say that, by the way.
Yeah. And so with the syndicate, a guy named Johnny Nitafan was running the Friday Fuel for about a year and a half. And then Joe and Tony gave me the great opportunity to go be a host on the show, along with Adam Lindsay, which he was on The Ultimate Agent with me, Colin Bingham on The Ultimate Agent, and Donald Peel.
Perfect.
We're all on The Ultimate Agent together, so we can connect really well together.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an Ultimate Agent podcast.
Kind of, but I don't really think they want to advertise like that.
Right. I love that.
But yeah, so we got into that about a month ago now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It's going really good, and we're just continuing to bring guests on.
You are, yeah.
So every Friday.
And you guys had Mr. Honeycutt on this past Friday? Man,
Trey
that's
Honeycutt,
great.
Yeah.
That call went well?
Yep, he's great. He's doing really good.
I heard part of it. I thought it was great. And then I'm talking to a couple agents the other day, and they're like, man, did you see James? Is like, man, did you see that show went good? Honeycutt just tore it up. And then last night, Jeff came over, and he was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It
was a great show, yeah.
It was. And then we went to Detroit. For our viewers that don't know, Alex and I and Shelly went to Detroit. We were doing some seminar training with an organization we work with, which we'll be getting on the podcast soon as well. But when we were up there, Alex, you committed to doing a podcast on Saturday. Right? You were on a podcast this past Saturday too. What podcast were you on?
So that was so what's cool about the Insurance Syndicate is they do daily podcasts. So they'll have Monday Mindset with Luke Acree.
Love Luke
And then Tuesday Training with Tony Merwin, and he has guests on with a bunch. And then Winning on Wednesday with Joe and Tony. And then they're actually bringing back Tactical Thursdays is what it was called.
Okay.
That's with John Wetmore. And then there's one, I think Perry Lunsford is what
I know.
Joe had mentioned. And then us for Friday Fuel, and then what I participated in was Saturday Morning Cartoons with Sawyer Jackson and Alex Jackson. It's really Sawyer's show. Alex is just in the back taking care of everything. But yeah, so I was on that show. It was a great show. We got to make sure we put that in the description so people can go watch that. But
yes, for sure.
Great show. It was amazing. So yeah, a lot of good things moving with the syndicate for sure.
Love that. Well, Alex, there's so much that we can discuss. So I just want to dive in today, you and I as agents and our perspective, and share with our viewership, both for new agents or for clients or potential clients in the Medicare space. I want to dive a little bit into this time of the year. It's coming up to October. For insurance agents, they're getting AHIP certified so they can do the qualifications they need to sell Advantage plans. And then you got to go contract with all the different carriers and make sure then you also do the certification for each carrier. It'd be pretty tedious.
Right.
And when we meet with people, especially this time of the year, Alex, I'm sure you would agree, that the biggest topics are Social Security, Medicare Advantage plans or Medicare supplements, and making sure their Medicare is right. What do you think right off the bat, as we'll dive into some of these in specifics, what do you think is generally, when you meet with a client and they're talking to you about Medicare, what's usually their first red flag or their fear or their anxiety that you feel like people first and foremost usually communicate?
their concern. I would say the first thing that really comes to mind, and I see quite often, is they get a bunch of calls.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of calls.
Yeah, so
yes, sir.
They're getting blown up with Medicare calls, and if I'm calling them, for example, on a non-responder list, they think I'm just one of those people,
That's
right?
exactly right.
So definitely when you are an agent, booking an appointment off a non-responder list for Medicare, right? Obviously, we're jumping into life insurance and everything like that, but if you're booking the non-responder for Medicare, you got to just separate yourself from any other person, right?
Yep.
That's just having a normal conversation with the client.
Yes, sir.
Just having a good conversation and not sounding like a robot,
That's right.
That's the biggest thing. You don't want to sound like a robot when you're talking with these clients because they'll know that you may just be another spam or telemarketer, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, their main concern's just the phone calls, and you really just got to separate yourself to not be that phone call, Is that the same for you?
Alex, I guess I will tell you this. You said something. I think we do need to have the separation. Right. So to answer your question, I think there's got to be a separation. When you get on the phone with the person, what you say first. Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks ago when we were doing one of our seminars, our retirement seminars, I asked by a show of hands, who can tell me who here has been blown up with phone calls and they're done answering their phones? Okay, you were there. Do you remember? Over half the group just raises their hand and look, I'm done answering my phones. We've got to find other ways to separate ourselves, because people are getting slammed over and over and over again, and I feel like even when we go out, like I'll go run appointments, and when I meet with people, I get this sense sometimes like they're already on the defense, because they already don't trust.
Right.
They set the appointment because maybe I did separate myself, or maybe you did separate yourself, so they're bought in, right? They're going to allow you to come. Yeah. But even when you come, you got to get them warmed up. You got to get them to be open. You got to get them to be flexible with you to allow you to talk to them, right?
Just it's really a trust factor.
Trust factor. What would you say maybe when you go out on your own or you go out with somebody? What are some of the common things that you kind of do to help break down those walls to create a level of comfort, a level of trust, so they don't feel like you're just another one of these guys on the phone?
Definitely, when you have the appointment, they let you in the home. When it comes to building trust, I feel like every seasoned agent kind of knows what to do, to build the trust. But something for me is, when you're going into the home, how are you doing? How's everything been going? And then start talking about their family, pictures on the walls. If they have some crazy objects that they may have had, in the past, like some historic things, pictures and stuff. You start talking about those, dive into all that. And then I feel like when you're building the trust, once you're done talking about the family, talking about their profession, talking about what sports they like, whatever it is, you dive into everything and make sure that you are having a normal conversation with the client, right? I would jump into, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here.
No worries.
You would jump into, once you've built all that, I would start showing them the legal side of you. So not the legal side, but show them your license, just like what you said.
Sure.
You're going to show them your license with you. Identify yourself, right? Perfect. So I would show them my license to show them like I'm actually licensed, so they don't think I'm just coming in here trying to scam them, But the trust is already built there, so that's just another, icing on the cake pretty much that you're showing them. Yeah. So they feel a lot more comfortable with you then.
Without building trust and rapport with somebody, you're not going to get them to want to buy from you or even hear from you, right? So good. No,
you just can't jump right into it.
You can just jump right into it. You're right. Well, let's get into our topic this week, and let's talk a little bit about, so I really want to hit Social Security, Medicare supplements, and Advantage plans, and I also want to get into, and I'll pull it up, and talk about a new law in Oklahoma regarding MedSup. Okay? But before we get into the MedSup Advantage space, let's talk a little about Social Security. When you meet with clients, would you say that the majority of them are receiving their Social Security as early as, like some people get it at 62, some get it at 65, or do you feel like you're talking to more and more people that are waiting to be older before they start receiving Social Security?
I mean, most clients I were sitting with, I think you could agree with me. I think they're all getting Social Security.
They jump on it pretty quick, yeah.
And I think it's smart, and I would like to hear what you think, but I think it's smart for if you are financially at a point where you can wait to get the Social Security.
Yep.
Whether when you turn 65, wait until like
70,
even 70, even late 60s, so you can have more of the support coming in, because you built it up because you decided not to do it,
So for viewers that don't know, when you apply for your Social Security to receive your Social Security, they're going to come up with a number. Right. And whatever that number is going to be your number. However, if you hold off and not receive your Social Security, then you can wait till you're older. And then that number will be increased. So then your new Social Security number every month will be higher than it was prior to, or if you took it when you were younger. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of times, the reason why I like that too, Alex, is because, you know what happens a lot of times? There we go. A lot of times what happens is that people start receiving their Social Security, but then they're receiving other incomes. And when you receive the other incomes, you know what, it might put you in a place where now you're having taxes taken out of your Social Security. Mm-hmm. So we sit down with people after these seminars, as you know, and we try to coach people on when's the best time to maybe receive your Social Security. If you haven't got it yet, when's a good time to get it? Mm-hmm. And then are you in a space where your taxes are going to start eating at your Social Security as well? Or is your Social Security more of a tax-free income that you're receiving? And based upon your other incomes, your other investments, how you situated your Roth IRAs or your 401ks or your other investment vehicles, if you had index universal life policies or not, will dictate what your taxes are going to be every month. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then you know, if you're getting an X amount from Social Security, but you're still receiving a bunch of income, and now they're reducing your Social Security because of taxes, well, that doesn't make sense.
It's all like it's just a financial thing where you're at.
You got to figure it out.
Because if you got IRAs, 401ks and stuff, might as well wait it out. You know, you have money.
If you can, because it all depends on what people are doing and what's going on. That's exactly right. Yeah, for sure.
But if you don't have that and you need the money, right? Then you got to get on it.
You got to get on it.
Right.
You got to get on it. You know, I've been in the business since 2009. Okay. And I remember when I first got involved and I got trained by my initial upline, I remember my upline, my direct guy says to me, he goes, Allie, you're going to love this business because when you sell Advantage plans, there's a lot of money to be made, you know? So I believe we at the Invested American do a good job talking with clients to figure out what the best alignment needs to be for them during their retirement years and when's the best time to pull Social Security. So if you're somebody watching this podcast today, please reach out to Alexander or I or any of our agents with TIA. If you have yet to receive your Social Security or you want to see how you can maybe get a tax break on your Social Security, you need to reach out to us so we can help set that up for you if that opportunity is available. You know, Alex, it blows me away sometimes when I talk to seniors about their Social Security, and I'm like, listen, do you realize you put money in every year into the system? Mm-hmm. You know, every time you pay, every time you make money, you put money into Social Security. Now, literally what's happened is they're taking Social Security money, handing it to beneficiaries, like someone that's retired. Let's pretend you or I are retired, and we want to start receiving our Social Security from the government. That they're literally giving us our money, but it's all tax money, and then they're taxing that money and taking money back from you. You know, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
They're robbing us is what they're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? It just doesn't even make any sense. Okay.
Something else that comes to mind, I would say, is when a client, for example, another level that we would help out here at the Invested American is when a client could be so confused about Medicare, doesn't know what's really going on, and they're not even enrolled in Part B.
Right.
Because I actually had a client, it was 2 weeks ago, he wasn't enrolled in Part B, and he doesn't know how to get enrolled in Part B. He doesn't even have a secondary. I was telling you about this client a little while back. And I'm helping him get enrolled in Part B now because he didn't even know what he had. Sure. So if you are, a client or, someone that needs help, an individual that needs help with their Medicare Part B, getting on Part B because you don't know how to, that's something that we can help out with.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. Good stuff. All right. Well, I remember when I got involved in the business, my upline tells me, you're going to go sell these Advantage plans. Everyone that's on Medicare is going to want an Advantage plan. And then I learned about Medicare supplements. Mm-hmm. Okay. For those that don't know, I just want to real clear, elementary. A Medicare supplement is a product that an insurance company sells to a Medicare recipient. If you're on parts A and B, you could purchase a Medicare supplement that takes care of all the costs after Medicare. Mm-hmm. Right? A popular one right now is Plan G. If you're talking to my man Tony Merwin, he'll tell you Plan N. But those are the two most common supplements that you could purchase. The problem with supplements are they typically are more expensive than an Advantage plan. The rates go up every year, and you're going to have a little bit of money to spend money on a supplement. Mm-hmm. Okay, I would say our average supplement right now is about $125 or $130 a month if you take all men and women kind of as an average, and that's what they're paying. Right. And then they have to buy a drug plan. which is Part D.
Correct.
Okay, and they have to buy that separate. So now they're on Medicare, they got a supplement, and now they're on a drug plan. Right? And then there's Advantage plans, as you're aware of, like your Humanas, your Community Cares, your Well Cares, right? These companies. And what they do is they pretty much replace your Medicare. I didn't say you don't have Medicare. I don't like using that terminology. But if you're on an Advantage plan, they call that like Part C. Correct. It's like taking your A and B and taking your D, putting it together, having one plan. And usually you're inside of a network. Usually you're in, if you want to do something else, you're going to have to get permission from your doctor to get you a recommendation, and that could take a while. At the present time, Alexander, if you go and meet, like on average, how many people a week do you think you meet with?
About 10.
About 10 people?
Sit down with 10.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're meeting with about 10 people a week, what would you say the number of people percentage-wise are on an Advantage plan versus a supplement plan? And specifically speaking of an audience,
65 to 70% for sure.
Are on what?
An Advantage plan.
An Advantage plan. Yeah. So you think if you got 10 people you go meet with this week,
at least
6 or 7 are on an Advantage plan. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I like more to 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, the reason why is just, it comes back to like we were saying about financially.
It is. I agree.
Most of our clients that we're sitting down with are on a fixed income. They can only afford so much. So they have to be on the Advantage plan because that's all they can afford, right? And yes. It makes sense. Even if I was in that, in that financial position, I would have to be on the Advantage plan because I couldn't afford the plan D or plan N, right? When you were mentioning those supplements, though, in what situation would you feel like a client would be or a prospect would be on a plan N rather than a plan G? Why would they choose the N over the G or the F?
Right. Great question. First off, I'd say that when I first got into business, this is crazy, there was a plan J. Okay? And plan J was the plan everybody was trying to sell. Okay? Plan J was better than F. Okay? As a matter of fact, there were some coverages that F didn't have that J did when it came to skilled nursing and stuff at home. Okay.
More expensive than F?
Buddy. And they continued, Alexander, to raise the price of Plan J. I remember running an appointment with Samantha, your oldest sister. It was the night before Thanksgiving. This may have been 2010. Nope, check that. This is, I think, 2009 as well. Samantha goes with me to run this appointment to meet with this lady. And this lady's like, oh no, I heard I want Plan J. At that time, I was already being coached, man, you want to sell Plan F, Plan J, Richard. But this woman said, I wanted Plan J. So I sold it. She was like my last Plan J, But those rates kept going up. So then Plan F became the big thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's loving Plan F. Yeah. Well, then what happens is they say, okay, well, there's Plan F, and then there's Plan G. And Plan G said, we'll do everything F does except for Part B. Okay?
And the 1-year deductible.
The deductible is what we're talking about here, okay? The deductible is what we're talking about here, okay? So it's like, okay, well, that's not much. And you get to save on the premium. The savings were pretty good. So, if I saved that and still spent the money on the deductible, I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was the evolution and the popularity of G continuing to grow.
Right.
But let's be clear. Now, nobody's got F.
Yep.
Few and far between. Nobody has J. Few and far between do F.
Yep.
And G's become very popular. Well, I remember about a year and a half ago, me and Tony Merwin were doing a podcast, the State of the Union podcast, with the last company you and I were with. And we do a show every Thursday. Man, he would talk about Plan N, and he would swear that Plan N was better. And I argued with him. Now, Plan N is very similar to G. But Plan N will also have maybe some office visit fees or some other additional fees. However, co-payments at some level, Alexander. However, not that extreme. Actually pretty friendly.
It's like I was looking at the Medicare guide the other day. It was $20 to $45, I believe, for co-payments.
That's right. Yeah.
But the good thing is, you meet the 1-year deductible, right? And you can go anywhere you want to go.
You could. And that's what makes it great.
And it's the more cost-effective side when it comes to with supplements, yeah.
So check this out. So when I was working in the field a lot, my second year in the business, I built a relationship with the dialysis clinics, the DaVita dialysis clinics in Tulsa. You've seen them probably when you're driving around or what have you. So check this out. When Plan N first came out, Mutual of Omaha was doing a guaranteed issue Plan N. No matter the health condition, if they want Plan N, they can have Plan N. I was getting calls from the dialysis center every week. On average, Alexander, I sold 1.5 to 2 policies a week. All I would do is I'd go to the dialysis center. They would say, hey, there's a guy here. He wants Plan N. We would go to set him up on Plan N. You know who was paying for it? The dialysis center.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay? They're like, we'll pay his premium because then we're going to bill his insurance for his coverage. And I was selling Plan N like crazy back then. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So that was a big deal. Yeah. Okay? And then when you learn about Advantage plans, as you know, what's good about an Advantage plan is that you could, no matter what someone's health, pretty much qualify them to get insurance, right? And that's what makes it so attractive to people, right? I'm sure you've heard that many times. Okay. Well, now I want to bring up something, and then we'll dive into some of the pros and cons of Advantage plans. But I'm going to bring up, there's a new law that was just implemented in the state of Oklahoma that took effect September 1st about MedSups. Okay. And I know you've probably already gone through it because I sent it to the whole team, but I want to read it over so everybody hears. Hang on, let me get it out because I want everyone to. I'm going to literally read the law is what I'm going to do on this right now. Okay. This came out on the 1st of September, and I want everybody to know this is changing the game in the MedSup space forever. Okay. Amendments to Oklahoma Administrative Code create new enrollment opportunities for Medicare supplement policyholders. The regulation requires Medicare supplement issuers to provide new supplement policies with the same or lesser benefits to current Medicare supplement policyholders, regardless of current issuer, who have had no gap in coverage in the last 90 days since initial enrollment. Previously, these policyholders have had no opportunity after initial enrollment to move to any other Medicare supplement policies or issuers, trapping the policyholders in policies with rising premium costs and no opportunity to search for lower premium rates. What it's saying is for years, when someone got on a supplement, and I got a little more to read here, but when you got on a supplement, you had to stay on that supplement if your health declined because no other supplement company was going to insure you. Yeah. Insurers offering a new, i.e. succeeding supplement policy shall waive medical underwriting or pre-existing conditions if the new supplement policy offers the same or lesser benefits. Issuers of the current, i.e. statement of benefits or other pertinent information sufficient to permit verification of benefit determination to any new issuer upon request. What does that mean in layman's terms? If you live in the state of Oklahoma and you have a Medicare supplement and you've had it for over 90 days, you have the ability to transfer to another Medicare supplement with no health questions, guaranteed issue to lower your rate. So imagine
it's 90 days though, right? You said
you'd be on it for at least 90 days.
I'll be on it for at least 90 days.
Because it says here, to be very specific, regardless of current issuer, who have had no gap in coverage greater than 90 days. So even if they haven't had coverage for 60 days, they can get a new MedSup.
Right.
Okay. But listen to what they're saying here. They're saying no matter what your health condition, you are guaranteed a new MedSup.
That's only in the state of Oklahoma?
This is an Oklahoma law. There's like 5 or 6 other states that have done it, and I'm going to tell you what's happened to the insurance companies. But let's just walk this through so you can see I don't think you've got the aha moment yet, because I want you to know what you think about this. Now listen to this. You meet with Joe. You sold Joe American Home Life 2 years ago. Okay? He's got his supplement. He's loving the whole thing. Yep. Now watch this, Alex. He has a heart condition. He has a heart attack. He goes, has surgery, does whatever. That guy had a plan G when you sold it to him. You go and visit him. You do a yearly routine visit. We recommend at the Invested American, if you're an agent of ours, if you're a client of ours, that we will do a review with you once a year. And if you have worked with other agencies and have not had your review yet, please contact us. Allow us the opportunity to help give you a review and make sure your Medicare is in the right order, that your protection is in the right order. Now, Alex, to get back. If you had a client that you sold American Home Life to, and they just recently had a heart attack and they had surgery, and they're like, man, my Medicare supplement went up to $140 a month or $150 a month. Alexander, can you help me? What would you typically tell them?
Since your health issues, I don't think I'll be able to move you, man.
So what does that mean then?
I mean, that means you're going to be stuck in that supplement that you are now, and that's for the rest of your life.
The rest of your life.
Unless you want to get on an Advantage plan.
Which, how often do people get excited about getting on Advantage plans? They don't. Okay.
Because they want to be able to go anywhere, whenever.
Do whatever,
wherever.
whenever.
Yep.
I love it, Alexander. Okay. So check this out. What they're saying now is you can go to your client that had heart surgery 6 months ago, and you can move them to another MedSup. And no matter what their health, the other MedSup company has to take them.
Wow. It's a lot of claims.
That's what I'm talking about. So do you know what other states have done that have made this law effective? Do you know what's happened? A lot of those companies stopped selling MedSups in those states, which is going to leave us doing what? Only selling Advantage plans in the state of Oklahoma. Because if we can't sell MedSup, the companies are, because now, and then if you're thinking as an agent, and I'm also going to get a commission now, right? I could sell them a new MedSup. The commission you're probably going to get from these carriers is probably $20 or $25. It's not going to count towards promotions. It's not going to count with carriers that do combo apps. Okay, if someone's health is bad and you move them because of the new law, there is no commission. And you know what else it's doing, Alexander, for an insurance agent? It's killing their renewals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're killing their agents' renewals, man.
I don't think, would you even get any renewals if you're getting $25?
Right, for that first, I don't know what those renewals will be, but I'm talking about the other side.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the part where here you are, you've built this book of business, you're selling American Home Life, or you're selling whatever, other MedSup carriers that you're selling, if it's Cigna supplements or whoever it is, right? Yeah. But whoever you're selling now, if you go and change them later because of their health, well, now you're going to lose the renewals that you had there because you sold them a brand new policy. But you know what else is going to happen? The other agents. How many times have we run into other insurance agents, and now when they go talk to your clients, you're like, let me move you. Let's save you some money.
You can get moved now.
You can get moved now. And then what you do is you'll piggyback that with some life insurance. Because now I've saved you money on your MedSup, and final expense is usually a little more friendlier than a supplement. Yeah. Does that make sense? So I think this is a monster deal that Oklahoma has passed, and I think it's going to be game-changing because I already know. I've got clients that I need to go visit that have bad health, and I need to let them know, I got great news. Right. I can move you now.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. I don't think it's going to be good for the carriers, and I think we're going to lose insurance.
I think it's, like you kind of mentioned, I think it's all... I think most of us are going to end up having the route to Advantage plans because, if we can help the client out, if they want to stay on a supplement and get them a lower supplement, it's really not about the commission. It's about getting to protect the family first, right? But definitely us going towards closer to Advantage plans now rather than supplements, is definitely going to be more of a benefit.
It is. The Advantage plan space, to talk about it in a minute, then we'll come back to the Medicare supplement space. The Advantage plan space is great. Typically 0 premiums, maybe an office visit, a specialty visit, okay? And then your out-of-pocket expenses in most cases max out somewhere around $7,500 to $9,500. Am I right?
Max out of pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? And I even think in certain states it's even $13,000 or something. But again, don't quote me on that. But there's out-of-pocket costs that you don't get with supplements. And also what is with Advantage plans is you're also stuck in a network, right? So if I have an Advantage plan that is good with St. John and St. Francis here in Oklahoma, they may not be good with Hillcrest. So then I got to go get a different Advantage plan if I want to be on. But you can only be on one. So what if your doctor at St. John wants you to see a doctor at Hillcrest? He has to give you what they term a referral. Guess what? Referrals aren't always accepted. Because if you're out of network and the carrier says, oh no, we have 7 other doctors in our network that does that work, they could reject you. Now you can't go to who you want. So Advantage plans, The part that's not always exciting about them is they don't allow you to go wherever you want. You've got to go where they want you to go because you're stuck inside that network.
Right.
But it costs a whole lot less. And then I wonder, Alex, does it really cost a whole lot less? Like, is the game going to change again? Like, now we're doing this with the supplement space. Okay? Well, when supplements are no longer competition in Oklahoma, what's going to happen to Advantage plans? Are they not going to be as competitive because there's no competition anymore? Are the premiums going to go up because now everybody's stuck getting Advantage plans? I don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah.
But this is a game changer right here.
It is. Even now, there's Advantage plans that will go upwards to like $25. I was looking at the Medicare.gov. So I mean, there's already
the premiums.
Yeah. There's already Advantage plans that have premiums. So
25, buddy, 39, 49.
Yeah.
There are.
Most
they
are
exist.
zero, but
Yep.
there is some HMOs that do have
That's
a
right.
premium, which is crazy because I mean that may even go up now.
Yep. So as we're learning about this new initiative here in the state of Oklahoma, if you've got any questions regarding specifically the MedSup, the Medicare supplement space, your Plan Gs, your Plan Ns, those are the hot ones being sold right now. If you're in any space or you have any questions, you need to reach out to us so we can better further help explain and get you set up in the right manner. I will say though, Alex, in my experience, most people today that have a Medicare Advantage plan, they're doing okay. Mm-hmm. I don't really feel there's a whole lot of people that are really bitter about their Advantage space, this and that. And plus, you're the expert. You were the Rookie of the Year for United National Life on their hospital indemnity work and their home health care stuff. Well, why don't you take a minute out and kind of discuss when you do sit down with someone that does have an Advantage plan, what are some of those core products you talk about, mm-hmm. and how do you typically sell those so people see the value and go ahead and get them?
Right. Yeah, there's quite a bit that goes into it, actually talking to the client about it. And, it kind of starts out with showing them the problem and then the solution, right? Perfect. So they understand that they do have a problem, they do have a gap in their coverage. Then you show them the solution and how you can help fill that gap and protect them, right? So with the Advantage plan, for the first 1 to 5 nights that you're in the hospital, right, there's going to be a nightly visit of $295 a night. Okay. It varies. It could be 1 to 6. Usually it's 1 to 5, $295, $300. Some's $340 a night. It just depends, right? Perfect. But in this scenario, it's 1 to 5 nights, $295 a night, right? So I'd really explain that to the client. Hey, Mrs. Jones, under your Advantage plan, this is every Medicare Advantage plan out. I don't care if it's Humana, WellCare, Community Care, United Healthcare, AARP, whatever it is. Every Advantage company has this gap. And what the gap is for the first 1 to 5 nights, you're going to have a nightly visit if you were to go to the hospital for $295 a night. And you're not getting around that. That's really what it's going to be, right? And that's probably one of the biggest concerns I have for you right now because let's be honest. I mean, most of the clients I'm sitting down with really can't afford that. Is that right? Oh, I can't afford that, blah, blah, blah. And it's all the time, right? I mean, they can't afford it. So then I'll explain to them, hey, Mrs. Jones, what I do offer is what I call a hospital indemnity rider that'll just be attached to your Advantage plan, right? And it's very inexpensive, but this is actually going to cover the first 1 to 5 nights, so you don't have to do it. Well, what happens after the first 1 to 5 nights? After the first 1 to 5 nights, your Advantage plan will pick up from the 6 days and beyond, however long you're there, right? So you won't have to
like for up to 60 days or something.
So you really won't have to have a worry in the world once you get after those 5 days, right? But you're going to have that protection for the first five days.
That's right? What we're buying it for.
I have it right here. It's literally just $20 a month, and this is going to cover you for the first 1 to 5 days, right?
Perfect.
I explain to them the problem. I explain to them how I do the solution and how we go ahead and do it for them, right? And that's really the biggest thing. But with that company, United National, that's the biggest product that I helped clients out with was that because I sat down with, like I said, 60% of the clients I'm sitting down with this Advantage plan, and I would say 60% of those clients I'm sitting down with, about half don't have, or a little less than half don't even have the hospital indemnity rider, right? So that's a no-brainer. You have to make sure you protect the client if you get out of that house with that sole product, right?
Absolutely.
Same thing with that home health care. I know we're not diving into that, but same thing with the home health care.
Talk about that, because the home health care product like United National Life has, I bet you sell more of it to people that have Advantage plans than supplements as well.
Correct, yeah.
So talk about that.
Because usually someone that's maybe on a supplement isn't really, they may have a long-term care plan. They're not really worried about they're not really worried about their home health care right now, whatever it is. And I would tell them, like I said, I would tell them the problem and then the solution, right? But someone that is on a Advantage plan, and a supplement, they have the same gap. Medicare is only going to cover the first 21 days in the home, right? So if you don't have, like Mrs. Jones, if you don't have something that's protecting you for 20 or for after 21 days, I mean, there's talks of you going to the nursing home, and I know none of my clients I want to be in a nursing home, right? Right. They say no 100% of the time, right? That's right. So there is the home health care that will protect you for 365 days out of the year if you needed it, right? And like I said, I'm showing them the problem, and then I'm showing them the solution of how to fix their situation.
And you know, Alex, the truth is, an Advantage plan isn't the ultimate substitute for a supplement. A supplement isn't an ultimate substitute for the Advantage plan. However, I do believe that if we could sit down with clients, set them up on an Advantage plan, make sure they have a hospital indemnity, and if they got the home health care, that combo of sales, I want to tell everybody, it gets you the ultimate protection that you need for if you're ill at home, you're ill at the hospital, or you need to go see somebody. I mean, it really crushes it all. And it'll end up costing you less money than a supplement that does on a monthly basis as well. You know, having all those pieces put out there, has a lot of value.
Even with the Advantage plan, you only get a certain amount of benefit of money will actually protect you in the hospital or the doctor, right? I was looking the other day on Medicare.gov because I've been doing a bunch of research on Advantage plans because open enrollment's coming up. And there's apparently in and out of network, there's only a $6,000 benefit for one. I was looking at a bunch of different ones, right? And what I'll also tell a client, like I said, the problem and solution is you need to definitely have some type of cancer plan, right? Because if something really does happen to you, you're going to be out of pocket quite a bit if you don't have at least a cancer plan, because your Advantage plan is only going to pick up on so much, right? After what Medicare A and B does anymore. So having the cancer plan as well, I mean, the home health care, hospital indemnity, and cancers, if you're on an Advantage plan, you really need all three of those things.
And isn't it true, Alex, that a lot of times with you, when you sell the Advantage plans, when you sell the United National, you typically will try to add the cancers like a rider, right? It doesn't even have to be an independent policy. You can add it as a rider. It doesn't cost as much, maybe not as much in protection, but then they get the bundled package.
Yeah, you make it just all bundled up for them, real
make it convenient.
Sexy, I guess you could say.
Sexy's a good word. It is.
And you just bundle it all together and then show them really what it looks like. And if you really had good trust with the client, you showed them the real problem, that they actually do have a problem with something, God forbid, does happen to them. Right. I think it's really a no-brainer.
Absolutely. I love that. I want to touch on a point that you said earlier. So please, again, any questions regarding Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, or policies that will complement that, please reach out to us. We'll definitely be able to help you out. We got to get Hunter on the phone or on the show here, so I'll reach out to him and see with Theory on her schedule, and then get him to record a show with us, because we definitely got to get him on, especially coming now into October. This will be a great episode for us with Hunter, talking about Advantage plans and supplements and that kind of stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Alex, when you were talking about initially going to a client's home, you were talking about what they do for fun, this and that. I want to leave everybody today with just a note here for everybody to think about, and it's the acronym FORM, FORM. And I believe that anytime you get with a client, if you can form them, you will have success with them. What does FORM stand for? The F stands for family. When you sit down with somebody, if you can talk about family, look at the photos, compliment the beautiful photos, that's going to win them over. O stands for occupation. Talk to people about what they do, what they did, what they liked, what they didn't like about their career. Occupation. The R stands for recreation, right? What do they like to do? Do they like to play pickleball, right? That's become a big thing now. Pickleball, it's become huge. Do they like to golf? Do they like to play the guitar? Do they like to cook if they got some free time to just spend time in the kitchen? Do they like to plant a garden? What is it they like to do? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So that's what you know about their family, their occupation, their recreation. And the next one, I like to use the word M for money, because in every meeting, in every conversation that I ever do in this business, money is always a conversation, because we're either buying something for coverage or they have something they're paying for, and we're talking about what they pay and what they get versus not. You know, you got to do the family, occupation, recreation, money. And if you're living in that space with your prospect, they're going to open up to you on all the different things going on with them for you to best serve them.
In that specific order, right?
You know what, buddy? I would tell you, it's kind of how it works. It really does. Because, you know, when you first walk into someone's house, I'm glad you asked me that. When I first come in, what do I start looking at? Photographs, and start talking about their family. Right? Eventually, when you sit down and you start going over a needs assessment, one of the first things you do is you talk about occupation. What'd you do? How'd you get here? You know? And then recreation's great, because you might, as you're walking around, you know how many times have you been to someone, they got like a whole M&M's collection. M&M cars, M&M this, you know? Or you go to someone's house, they have actually full-size old school cars in their garage. And that's exciting to talk about. That's their recreation stuff that they might be involved in. And you know you're going to talk about money. Money's coming. You know, money's always coming.
Yeah, true. And I think all of these factors inform really it all comes back to trust. I think every point of it is a trust building factor for sure.
I totally agree.
What I was thinking, that's really what stood out though.
Yep. Because that's what you're doing.
Right.
And the more they have trust with you, the more comfortable they're going to be, the more they're going to be willing to work with you. Yeah, right. It's great. It's great. Well, Alex, as we wrap up today's show, I appreciate everyone being tuned in with us. Is there anything that you want to touch on with these core pieces or anything? It's
been great.
I think it's been a great show. I think we've done a great job. I appreciate you being on today. As we wrap up, please like, subscribe, and share with others. Again, the Invested American, if you're any concerns with your Social Security, how much you're getting, are you being taxed, are you not? We can help you with that. Have you started receiving your Social Security? Or maybe you shouldn't. Let's mastermind and do a strategy session together to better serve you. And then when it comes to Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage plans, all over the country, we are licensed and ready to go and help and serve you. And for any of those in Oklahoma, please, with this new law, reach out to us today and allow us to better protect you. You guys have yourselves a great day, and we'll talk soon.